Yo, what's good, world family? It's your boy Nico Williams back with another episode of WN99 Sports. We got to get into the playoffs. Round one is over with. We're getting into round two. We just had a nasty. But who played Clippers? It don't even matter at this point because Luka, he didn't show up when he needed to. But we got a lot to talk about. Naomi Osaka. We got Brad Stevens. We got some news out of Portland. It's a whole lot of news, man. But I can't do it unless I got my boy Zell Mate with me. How you doing today?
And I'm blessed. You know how we do.
How we do?
We looking cute.
Cute.
We looking clean.
Hey.
And we looking sexy.
Sexy.
You know, man, fun day, good, great topics, good sports, good weekend of sports, everything.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's get to it. Man, so first round, it's a wrap. We just ended it with Dallas taking an L in Game 7 against the Clippers. It was a tight game until the Clippers just took off on them at the end. But, a part of me was rooting for Luka because I won't say that this is a legacy-defining game, but it would have been a career moment for him. I can tell you that much. Had he been able to pull that off to take down PG, the slander would have been beautiful on Monday morning. And to take down Kawhi Leonard, who is above slander. So at this point, man, how you feel about that game as we start to move on to round two of the playoffs?
Yeah, when you look at it, Kawhi averaged 38. Y'all don't know what you're going to slander about. Because I know when you average 38 and then play great defense on Luka from the second half on. So they played good. Luka got to have help because that man be gassed by the third and fourth. They showed a percentage. First quarter, 58%. Second quarter, 61%. Third quarter, 48. Fourth quarter, 31. You know what that calls? Fatigue. When your shooting percentage go that low from the first half to the second half in every game, that's called fatigue. When he averages 40 points and 10 assists every game, that's fatigue. He scored 29 points at halftime today. And then he didn't score much in the second half. Again, they got to get him help. Shout out Tim Hardaway. He got his ankle injured. He played pretty well. Boban.
Then he came in kind of late. Boban showed up too.
He showed up. He's so limited, though. They kind of made a lot of mistakes trying to force him the ball. When they were trying to throw the inside pass, you can't do that. You got to throw the ball arch. He is too tall. I know you're not used to a 7'4" man throwing the ball. They got to run more sets for Porzingis. Maybe post up because he just sits in the corner and doesn't get the ball passed to him most of the time. And shout out to the clip. Paul George he played okay at moments in this game, but it wasn't crazy. Kawhi played amazing. Came out and that man played amazing the whole game. He was getting his own offensive rebounds and putting it back up. Yeah. I think he had almost 20, but he had 13 in the first half. He was tired with Paul George, who had 13 in the second quarter. Kawhi had 13 in the first quarter. And they both ended up with 13 at halftime, and Man had 13 throughout both quarters. Morris hit 9 points at halftime. I know he had a lot. He hit some more big threes. Reggie Jackson hit some big threes. You see, you know, it's a different.
Yeah.
I'm mentioning Luka hit, and I'm mentioning Boban sometime getting a layup. Porzingis sometime getting a dunk. Tim Hardaway played well, but he was injured in the game 7. He played well in game 6. But all the names I mentioned with the Clippers, and I don't even have to get to Paul George. Zubac played well. A lot of people play well for the Clippers. He just need more help. Shout out to him for getting the game to a lot of favorite team in the league to a game 7 though, because Clippers, I know he's the team to do, and was dropping 40 and 10 a night. So 3 times this series, 40 and 10. First time in NBA history. Random stat ESPN likes to give us.
Shout out to Adam Silver, understanding that if the LA fan base isn't there at all, that was going to hurt the ratings. So they had to have some part of LA still be there. So shout out to Adam Silver for making that call and making the refs make it tough. But he's underestimated. It's not about Clippers Nation. It's something about having Europe on your back. So I mean, Silver, if you're talking about dollars, I think Luka is actually going to be the bigger draw in the grand scheme of things.
They got Jokic. They good.
You think that's enough for the playoffs, Jokic?
Jokic good. They root for Jokic. Then you got you got the player from Africa. You got Giannis and Embiid. So
Giannis is holding it down for Greece, not Europe. Like that's a whole different thing. Like Luka is holding it down for like all of Europe. I think he's more. Jokic might be from some of them warring countries, man. So y'all know he might got some beef in there.
They can always root for Giannis if they want to.
Giannis, I just don't think that Greece is as big a draw as it used to be when it was like the center of the world, but they're not. Mm-hmm. So, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm still content with all the matchups that we got coming up. But
we got two of the Eastern Conference and got their game ones out the way.
We got them out the way. But before we get into just the East and a recap of what they've done, let's kind of look at the West now that we know what's going on. Let's get a preview in before we get into that, and then we'll tell you what actually happened in Game 1 out East. So now that it's set, since we on them, it'll be Clippers versus Utah. Am I correct?
That's correct.
So I'm looking at it like this. It's up to one person in this series, and he has to be a star. And this is his chance to show that he's a star. You know what I'm talking about?
Rudy Gobert?
No, Rudy Gobert. He's going to do what Rudy Gobert does. He's going to do that.
Mr. 14 and 10 Hall of Famer.
We talking about Murray, correct?
No, you talking me Mitchell.
I mean, Donovan Mitchell. My apologies, Donovan Mitchell. That's why I was trying to let you. I was trying to have you fill in the space for me because I forgot the boy name. But you just want to start talking about every damn thing else but that. Yes, Donovan Mitchell, Spider.
He did have a series with Murray last year that they both were dropping 50. So you get confused. We'll sit there.
Thanks for that save. So with that being said, yeah, Utah is going to be on Donovan Mitchell. I think Rudy Gobert is going to do what he does, and Utah has a solid team, but the 40-point performances, they're going to have to be back to back to back, just like Luka did in order for them to do this. But the thing is, I believe Donovan has more help. So I think that this could be a six game series. I don't believe it's going to be a whole bunch of more 7 game series going forward. But this series for sure, I'm going to give it 6. And I'm going to actually go Utah maybe in 6. I think that this past series, I think this series with the Clippers, I think that took a lot out of them. Like, it's not, we got them out the way. Now we're good. I don't think it was that kind of feeling. I think you go into this like, I'm exhausted. It took everything we had. And I mean, we got what we got out of Kawhi, but is PG going to have something happen to him mentally within the next couple of days? We don't know.
He was chilling, so he better be good. He should do good next year. He been chilling the whole playoff.
I'm here for it. We're gonna see. But I got it at 6. What you think on that? You said the Clippers. What you feeling? How you think it's gonna go?
I'm picking the Clippers unless Utah do the one thing they should do. They got to put Paul George's daddy in the starting lineup. If Joe Ingles show up in the first quarter, Joe Ingles averaged 9 points a game in his career, but against Paul George, he averaged 25. so if they put Paul George's daddy against him, that's what Twitter calls him. It's a joke. Everybody be so sensitive nowadays. You know,
Joe Ingles,
y'all slandering the black man, but Joe.
How many killers does PG have at this point? Like, the list keeps growing. Everybody's just having career games. All the white people got career games on Paul George. Shout out to white people.
White people don't like Paul George. I don't know what it is, bro. They don't like Paul George. No, you got to get them buckets on you, dog. Y'all gonna stop lying to me telling me he's an elite defender when Joe Ingles, who averaged 9 points a game, averaged 25.
He just felt comfortable shooting enough shots to have 25 points. Like, that's, you have to shoot several shots to get to 25.
And then told him to get out the gym when he was at OKC. Get out. But
I love a good rivalry. I love a good I can't stand this cat game. And that's why in a sense I was rooting for Luka. I was like, get your get back, fam. Get your get back. I'm here for it.
We gotta talk about that later on. It's another series that they got real hatred for. We gotta talk about that later on. But yeah, this series is gonna be, I got the Clippers because they Donovan Mitchell presents similar problems to Luka, but he doesn't present the passing problem that Luka does, or that little weird game he got.
And why you say that? I'm sorry. I'm just real quick. We might see the return of Patrick Beverly since we might get to return him.
Luka told that man. Luka told that man he was too little and he didn't play not another game in the season.
Right, but we might see the return of Patrick Beverly because it's a better matchup from a size standpoint.
I wouldn't put him in. Man been killing, bro. Man, one of the reason they, even though he did miss that layup in game 6 that they were wide open that could have won the game, but he made up for it tonight. So I think it'd be an interesting series. I got the Clippers though. I don't think Mitchell presents the same problems. He might present more of a scoring threat than Luka, but I think he doesn't present the passing offense problem, even though they run better sets. But if Russ O'Neal and Joe Ingles hitting, like I said, Utah in 6, I believe it's just going 6 regardless. But I think the Clippers might have just got over that, may get over that mental hurdle and found some rotational players that they need to find, which other teams will have to find too. We'll talk about that later.
There's something about that rest too. That rest will do something for you, and Utah got to sit on that. So,
Milwaukee missed every 3-day shot. We'll talk about it again.
Absolutely. So let's get to the other Western Conference championship game, or not championship game, but semi-final, semi-conference, whatever the hell you call it. Don't matter. It's not my job to know. I just watch them. Listen, we got Phoenix versus the Nuggets. I don't know. Healthy Chris Paul, cool. Jokic. I'm going here, man. If Devin Booker does not channel Kobe Bryant and score 45, 50 a game, it could be a tough outing for Phoenix. I like the Nuggets. I just can't stand Jokic. Like, he gets on my nerves like Tim Duncan does. Like, you have zero like wow to you at all. You just do stuff. And you have 30, 10, and 14, and I'm just like, what the hell? When did that happen? Where did the 30 come from? That's the real question. But Aiden's gonna have his hands full down there. I think a lot of it's gonna have to do. I don't think it's gonna be so much the guard play. I think what happens down there, they may even mess around, throw Crowder at him just to see what happens at old Book. And they may even see what he can do with Joe just because of the kind of defender that he is. But I think I'm going to go. I hate to do it, but I'm going to go. Oh. So my mind is telling me Nuggets in 6, but my heart wants it to be Phoenix in 6.
So your mind is telling you no, but your heart telling you yeah.
I got a root for that Mississippi boy whenever I get a chance, man. I like D-Book, and I got a root for him when I can, and like deep down inside, I'm not even deep down inside. I think I'm gonna actively be rooting for Phoenix, but I just feel like the Nuggets will win.
It's gonna come down to Aiden. If Aiden decides to take on that role like he did against the others and get 20 or 15, they'll win. If Jokic have his way, get him in foul trouble, it's gonna be tougher. This series is gonna be interesting because it presents a similar problem to a game that happened today.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix is going against a team that is better offensively than the team they just played in the Lakers, but way worse defensively than the Lakers. Because if you look at Denver, their guards are little. It ain't like you got KCP and LeBron and all these 6'5", 6'8" guards out here versus now you playing 5'11" Calazoo, whatever it is. I can't say his name right. I didn't want to say his name, but
6'2" Mike Conley.
Yeah. We talking about Denver, but yeah, Calazoo and
Well, I said Utah. My bad. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm tripping on my teams, but yeah.
Kazoo, and then they got the Robertson from Arizona. My cousin coached him. They real little, so Bucking might and Chris Paul might get a better game. But again, now they got to defend, so we're gonna see what they do if Aiden is up to taking on Jokic 1-on-1 and trying to at least slow him down 1-on-1 and without having a trap. They're gonna win this series pretty easily in probably 6. If they don't, you got issues because if you have to trap Jokic, you in a bit of trouble. And then all them boys can shoot. So they find people randomly off the bench. They find dude off the street and he scored 20 from hitting threes, but that's Denver for you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this too. I think the key for Phoenix is you got to get Jokic in foul trouble or attack him to where he's going to have to make plays defensively to try and get him in foul trouble, because at some point he's going to just let you score. But I mean, we know he's a tall guy. He can just put his hands up. Cool. I get all that. But yeah, the key is going to be to attack him on that end of the floor. Just so, again, bringing up fatigue. I think you want to fatigue Jokic because he has carried that team since Murray's been out. So obviously he does have some help now. Let's not get it twisted. But when it comes down to it, my head says Nuggets with a healthy Jokic and staying out of foul trouble. But my heart is definitely rooting for Phoenix because I do want to see CP3 get him a ring before he get out of there. He's the president of the union. He's 37 years old, 38, 37. So man, let's get Chris Paul a championship before he hangs it up and sells insurance for the rest of his life.
That is true. Yo, before we go on, I want you, please, you listeners right now, listen to the sound of my voice. If you're Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, any web page y'all hear this from, please hit that follow button. We do this every Monday. Keep It 99 is exclusively on YouTube. So hit that like and subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, go to the YouTube channel, Overall 99 Media. Because every Tuesday, I told you we got that. Every Friday, we got What's the Trend. Every Wednesday, we have the What's New 99, the podcast. Keep It 99, like I said, every Tuesday, exclusively on YouTube. We might start making that a main show every day once in the fall, but we'll see how that goes. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, follow, whatever you got to do, whatever platform you listen to. We do this every week. And we're back to Unico.
Right on, make sure y'all hit that subscribe. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know where to find us. And we ain't hiding. But let's move out to the East. We had a game that I turned off and was about to take me a nap on. And I ain't gonna lie, I went and did other stuff. The Hawks were playing against the 76ers. The Hawks they was running it basically from wire to wire, but man, 76ers somehow made a comeback, but they fell short. That's the LA team, so I'm gonna let you take off.
First off, I have been proven right. Doc is mediocre, and he be sleep halfway through the game, like I be saying he be. Bro, we was down 5 with the starters, and he put 5 or 6, I think. We put the whole bench in. With the whole bench in, they went on a 20-0 run. He never called a timeout. He didn't take nobody out. They just went on a 20-0 run. It just kept going. I'm like, is he going to call timeout? Is he going to put somebody else in? Bro, I seen Dwight Howard throw the ball to Thibault, hit him in the back, and went straight back to an Atlanta player. I'm like, I seen Maxey run out of bounds 3 times. The man didn't call a timeout. The bench had 10 turnovers in 5 minutes of play. And I'm like, you not going to take them out? No. He put the starters in. All of a sudden, we come back. Embiid had on one leg, had to go out there and drop 32. He finally decided to take Danny Green. This how you know it's bad. Everybody on the internet said, why is Ben Simmons not holding Trae Young? The announcers watching the game and said, why is Danny Green holding Trae Young at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, he took off on Danny Green. Like,
and then in the second half,
it's gonna be a tough night.
And then the second half, he put Ben Simmons on Trae Young, and Trae Young only scored like 6 points in the second half. Now, is he gonna keep doing that? No, Trae Young gonna get buckets, but at the same time, you can see the difference between Danny Green on him and Ben Simmons or Thibault on him. You see the difference?
Are we really saving Ben Simmons for offense? No, you're not doing that. Let him expend his energy doing the things that he enjoys doing. Play defense, get rebounds, and maybe get a couple of assists, at least 7. So
he did, but to be fair, Ben was his offense was the reason we came back too. He 24, dog. He ain't even in his prime yet. Let him run. He don't even need to get out the game. Let him play the whole time. Thibodeau.
And that's something I got to say about a lot of these young cats that's playing in these playoffs right now.
They are.
We need to see these 20-something-year-olds be playing 46 minutes in the playoffs. You just gonna have to. I'm sorry. I was sitting there. We'll get into that later. But I'm looking at Giannis. Giannis, you got to play 46. LeBron did. Booker, if need be, you are gonna have to play 45, 44 minutes in the game. You are gonna have to do that. Close out games, all those type of things. But definitely these young cats, y'all gonna have to play.
Yo,
Trae Young will play 42, 43 minutes.
Can we shout out the young cats though? Like I said, Bing, the reason we came back, Bing in the playoffs is averaging a triple-double. Almost. He had 9 assists. He averaging like 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. That's ridiculous. Jason Tatum was averaging almost 40. Luka almost averaged 40 and 10. Trae Young averaging 35 and 10 almost. Donovan Mitchell, you see what he doing. All these people I just mentioned, under 25 for years. Between that 25 and 30 mark, I was looking like, when LeBron leave, who gonna take over? Because there was some years I was like,
we won't see somebody go to 10 finals straight anymore. We definitely won't see that.
Well, I don't know what we see. I said that never happened in the NFL. Tom Brady did 10 and 20. I'm like, bro, I don't even know how this is possible. But I don't know what they'll see, but that's amazing too. But by the way, this year is the first year in history. Not in history. In the last decade, that Steph or LeBron won't go to the final. That
is a random stat. Yeah.
2009 was the last time neither one of them went. Either Steph or LeBron been in the finals. And by the way, they the two biggest stars in the league. First time in a decade, one of them two won't be in the final. And those been the pillars of the league for a decade. So the young boys, it's y'all time to shine. Mitchell, 25, 24. No, Mitchell 24, Ben 24, Trae 22, Luka out 22. Now you got Kawhi and Paul George, and then you got the Brooklyn team, but most of everybody else in their 26s and below. Even Giannis. You know what I'm saying? You got Brooklyn and you got the Clippers, and everybody else got a bunch of young boys. So it's the youth showing their league. I want to see what's gonna happen in the league. To come back, Ben got to play Trae most of the game. They got to do that trap. They can't leave the shooters open. They do what they did in the second half. I still say 76 and 6. If Doc put a whole bench lineup again in the playoffs, I hope we get swept. I'm going to say that. I want us to get swept. If that man disrespect this team again. By the way, it ain't nothing new, Unico. Have I been yelling about the all bench lineup all year?
It's definitely something you mentioned.
I hate that lineup, bro. I said it at the beginning of the first quarter. I was like, bro, did he just put all the whole bench in? If he do it, I hope we lose. We deserve to lose. Doc selling. He sold when he put Danny Green on him. So, but we got the same problems that Milwaukee got. You can dominate the paint if you want to. We saw Embiid in the second half. Capella had nothing, Joe. Capella couldn't do nothing with that man. What do you end up with, 35?
I don't understand why Capella keeps becoming a key piece in all these conversations. They was in New York, now he in this one, and they catching W's. I don't understand. He got to hold. Like he's the weak point, but how is it a weak point when
he got to hold Embiid? He got to hold Embiid. That's why. But Embiid killed him in the second half. But he got to. You see it, man. And then Ben can get to the hole whenever he wanted. But again, they have the same problem Milwaukee have. They try to outshoot the team that shoot better, and that don't work. So we gotta cut that down. Trae is the liability on offense. On defense there. So it's definitely you want to look to attack him if you can. Yeah, if Ben ever on Trae, he gonna foul Ben every time he post up. It don't matter. We saw it today. Trae got a little quick 3 fouls, but it wasn't enough because Trae didn't have to play for a whole quarter and a half because we got a whole bench lineup in. They gave up 20-0 run. A 20-0 run with no starters in the game.
I can see some people getting cussed out like can't nobody leave the arena until we watch the game film tonight, so y'all can see what happened where we went wrong in that.
I wish Doc would say something about me. Doc gonna be the one we cussing. Doc, you didn't call timeout right there? We went down 10. Doc, what about when they threw the ball off the dude back?
Well, I think as a player, I'll look to the bench, and if I know I'm in trouble or something to that effect, or I know it's a timeout situation, I'm calling for it. I'm looking to the bench to say, so dude, at any point did you see the players have that awareness? So that has something to do with it too. I know
but they the bench though. They the bench,
but I understand that there's people on the bench, but if we in some trouble and we looking at stuff to slip away, you can feel a timeout. You can feel when you need a timeout. Yeah. Everybody can feel when you need a timeout. I don't know what Doc was thinking, but I know I would be looking over like, let's get a timeout.
But
we're not stopping
the starter. I don't know. They got Maxey with the ball. He young and he didn't play that much because Doc wanna love Shake Milton. By the way, if y'all ain't noticed, I got beef with Doc, and it's the same thing I've been complaining about for years with Doc. He do stupid stuff. He mediocre.
Accountability, and
also
a lot of people. If I'm one of the starters on the bench, coach, what's going on, coach?
Yo, all I gotta say is Ben and B do like KD did Steve Nash. Did you watch that? Yo, Steve Nash, he got 4-5 Steve Nash. KD said, "Shut the."
And that's the conversation I'm gonna have as we wrap up the show. We're gonna talk about coaching. That's something I want to touch on before we get out of here.
They're in a room.
We definitely gonna get on that. Matter of fact, you got anything else to say about the Sixers and how much you dislike Doc before we move on to that game? Actually,
yeah, I'm telling y'all one more time. Hear me. If he put an all bench lineup in a close game again, if we ain't that up 20, we deserve to get swept. That's all I got.
Right on. So, moving into last night's game, the Nets versus the Bucks. I mean, the Nets-Bucks, it was close at the beginning, and then it was just a little bit too much. Despite James Harden going out with what appeared to be a hamstring injury, not only did he leave out the game, he left out the building to go get an MRI on his hamstring. So you had that going on, but between 51 shots between KD and Kyrie, that means 25 shots from one and 26 from the other. That's what it took to do what they did to the Bucks. I thought that was a lot of shots, but Giannis, he would look like he was controlling the situation early in the game, and they did. There was a few different runs, but at the end of the day, man, the Nets they were just a little bit too much. So, what would you take away from that? I know that mine it's going to be Giannis is going to have to show us what kind of basketball player he is, especially with James Harden being out, which is the de facto point guard. Kyrie might play the one, but James Harden, he's the playmaker on that team. And so without him, we're about to see 40-point Kyrie, 40-point KD. They're going to take turns. But we see they put up 50 shots apiece. I mean, not 50 shots apiece, but together, combined, 50 shots. That's a lot of shots between two people.
It is. I'm not going to blame Giannis. He did what he's supposed to do. Chris Milton played terrible. That man played.
He played okay.
No, he played terrible that whole game. Did you see his stat line?
I see his stat line. I'm talking about like the overall. I think
he played okay horrible. KD cooked that man the whole night. Whoever he got the ball on cooked him. He had 13 points in the whole game.
You definitely need more than number two. Then
let's talk about that. Sure. You talked about how many shots KD and Kyrie took apiece?
25 and 26 respectively.
He had 13 points. He took 23 shots. At 13 points.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's it.
And even Kyrie and KD, they weren't even efficient. And they put up the numbers they put up. That wasn't efficient at all. It was like 12 for 25.
Joe, every time you make a shot, you get 2 points. Or 3. You shoot 10 more shots than points you make.
Yeah,
you shot free throw. That is terrible.
But
Giannis they have no shot if Giannis the only person gonna score 34 points and Chris Milton shooting 6. If you take 23 shots and you only make 13 points, you in trouble. Your team in trouble. You are a liability.
Chris Middleton's always been a what if guy. Every time he's always been see if he could do that every game. He's always been that kind of guy. Somebody that can do it, but he just doesn't show up when you want him to, or he shows up when
but they got it doesn't matter.
Like Giannis isn't there and he scores all those points, they lose still, or he puts up all those points. Maybe Giannis has a bad game, they lose still. But he puts up points when it doesn't matter. It's a close game, but they lose still, but he had 13. And you think about what if you had to put up doggone 20, 22 points? If you could have put it with the contract you got, and the green light that you got and the kind of player that you are.
True Holiday didn't play good either.
I think he played an okay game.
He played okay. I give him that, but he didn't play well. You can't have.
They were doing what they were supposed to do at first, which was play them in the paint, beat them up in the paint. They started off the game how they supposed to. Then they started shooting jumpers and stuff, and then that's when they fell off.
Brook Lopez had 16 points in the first half. All layup.
Oh, he was balling.
Brooklyn had no even Blake. Shout out to Blake. We gotta talk about him before this. But even Blake couldn't touch Brook Lopez, and all of a sudden in the second half, he never touched the ball. They didn't throw it in the paint one time. I'm like, okay, it's
crazy. It's beyond me. It's bad basketball. It's terrible basketball.
Y'all are not gonna outshoot Brooklyn. That's the one thing y'all not gonna do, Milwaukee.
Even though we called them for a second, they was Warriors East for a second. Their team was built up like that, a whole bunch of 3-point shooters and whatnot. But that's coaching. And again, that's going to lead to something that I have a quick little rant about. But that's coaching right there. You got to tell them boys what to do out there, and they're not doing that. They're just letting them go out there and do what they want to do. It's like Shaq. I know I'm not comparing Lopez to Shaq,
but if he looked like him,
let him eat, man. If he's cooking, let him eat. He was dunking on everybody, just standing there. It wasn't no running dunks or nothing. He was just working in the paint, dunking. He played, and then let's not forget that three will fall if you mess with him too much. And that's where Giannis comes in and he hits him off with his dribble drive. He hit him with the craziest Euro step yesterday. I've never seen that. I almost thought it was a travel. I was like, there's no way he got there to there in 2 steps the way he did it. But they didn't stick to the plan. The plan should have been beat them up in the inside, beat them up. Shout out to Kevin Durant for making some defensive plays. I thought he made a couple of key chase down blocks and whatnot. I mean, if the Bucks can stick to the plan, they can beat Brooklyn. And I'm gonna say Brooklyn in 6 right now until I see a well-coached Bucks team.
My problem I think Brooklyn gonna, if Doc don't fix his issues, which we done talked about, Brooklyn might have an easy road to the championship if Milwaukee don't fix the issue. Because because their weakness is basically being big, and if they play Philly, if Embiid can kick Capella, ain't nothing on earth Blake Griffin.
I don't see anybody doing anything with Embiid at this point, other than Giannis.
Yeah, I'm like, Embiid is a monster, right? He hurt. He dropped 35 hurt against Clint Capella, who is a good defensive center, by the way. It's not like he's a trash player. If you would say Clint Capella trash, no, you're not. But he did that against him. Like I said, they got issues with Doc, but if Atlanta win the series, I'm sorry. Who you gonna put Trae Young on Brooklyn?
You gonna make him chase Kyrie, and that's all you got?
Maybe put him on Joe Harris, but Joe Harris should just shoot over the top, and that's a horrible night. He had to hold Kyrie. Did y'all see what Kyrie did to Chris Middleton, who considered a good defender? Yeah. Trae Young get foul trouble. He sure can't hold James Harden. That's foul trouble too.
Last night was the night for Milwaukee to get a game with no James Harden. That was the night to get that game. You needed that game.
But fortunately, Brooklyn was home, so you still got a chance to steal a home game. You haven't lost a home game. You still haven't won on the road. So you still got them chances. Fix your issues. Same thing with Philly. Fix your problems. When you see game one is going to usually be different because it's different from the regular season. People ain't got their game plan. It's about most of these series, especially at this point, going to be about little coaching changes and players making plays. So if you get those 2 things going, whoever in the second round going to make it to the finals, because these teams are a lot more even than the first round. So, like I said, if Doc don't make the adjustments, Philly will lose. I don't think they should. I still got Philly in 6 or 7, but if Doc don't, we probably get swept because he hard headed. You know how old black men are, bro. You don't tell me how to go. I'm gonna do what I want. Okay, all right. See, that's why you only got one.
That's the man with one championship ring with a
super team. With a super team, that team should have got more than one. I'm sorry. I know. Paul Pierce and all them gonna be like, oh, it was good. No, y'all won one, and you should have won more. Then you had the Clippers team, and you should have won more. It is what it is. But again, he ain't a bad coach. Because Brett Brown to me is a bad coach, but he mediocre. But like I said, if you make your adjustments, everybody in the second round, like Utah, I'm pretty sure Utah and Dallas gonna feel it in the next round. I mean, not Utah and Dallas, Utah and the Clippers. Yeah, Utah and the Clippers. Yeah, Utah and the Clippers gonna feel it in the second round. And first game is gonna be about what matchups, then you figure it out. That's how the playoffs gonna be toward this point, and you're gonna get in a rhythm because that first round for most teams, they played a trash team and or a hurt team. Like for instance, the Suns played a hurt team, so that wasn't the best effort the Lakers could have gave them, so they might not be as prepared. Philly played a Washington team that was trash. That's why they wasn't prepared for this game. Brooklyn played a Nets team. Milwaukee played a Miami team that basically didn't even try to show up. So they got into a ramrod. Brooklyn played a Jason Tatum team that was injured, but Jason Tatum like, I'm finna give y'all work.
Jason Tatum was still they still had a problem.
Yeah.
Which Brooklyn has a problem to this point. So I mean, it's a different kind of problem. It's a different kind of problem. Yeah, they got one.
But they got people that can just make up for it with just pure scoring. Utah had a problem. John Morant gave them a little work too, so they got. But some teams didn't have work, so they got to adjust. The New York gave New York wasn't really a problem for Atlanta, but they got their offense running because New York do play hard on defense. Even though if you saw Philly found a little something I thought they could take advantage of in the second half. Because when Trae got the ball and you rushed them white boys, I'm sorry. They didn't look good when they got rushed. And then again, you saw that joke. When Ben put that pressure on them, lost them, dump every time. I'm like, oh, that's going to be a problem if Trae ain't got the ball. If they just rush you. But that's little things you adjust to. You try to see if you can get that press every once in a while. You don't want to do it too often, but every once in a while, just shake them up. You know what I mean? But every team got to do that.
It also helps when you have people like Blake Griffin come out and splash threes.
Hit more threes than the Milwaukee Bucks did by himself.
I mean, for those who don't know, I mean, I know we kind of forgot about Blake after he left the Clippers, but he still played in the NBA, and he still was a serviceable. He was in a sense the franchise for Detroit still. Even at that point, him and Reggie Jackson was doing work. They just didn't win, but Blake Griffin was still in the league. He just wasn't dunking and being. Detroit doesn't get very much media, rightfully so. They don't give very much coverage, rightfully so. So with that being said, Blake Griffin can shoot now. And for those who haven't seen him since the Clippers, Blake Griffin can shoot threes, and he's still a force in the paint. So all that being said, that's a nice little piece to have when James Harden's not there. You get what you get out of Blake. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, 18 and 14 out hustled a lot of players. Hit just as many threes as the Milwaukee Bucks did the whole game. If Blake Griffin hit as many threes as your whole team did, you probably lost that game. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's just the truth. And by the way, we talked about heated rivalries. You heard what Giannis said last night before the game?
What'd he say?
He said that team over there got a lot of talent. They are really good. They got stars like Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Jeff Green. And that was it. Did you notice something? That was before the game now. When Harden was playing.
Oh, yeah. So also to our listeners.
That beef is funny, dog. Harden.
Giannis and James Harden have been going for a long time. People got balls thrown at their head. People have been disrespecting the basketball skill. I've heard that it takes no skill to just run and dunk. That takes no skill at all. We've heard that we want people on the team that's not going to dribble. It's the catty shady.
I love that. I love that
they don't ever say each other's name. They just it's petty and catty. But and then James Harden goes out with the hamstring.
I hate that.
That was supposed to be Giannis' game, so he could come out there and be talking trash in the post game interview. That was the game. Well, when you're healthy, you can play. and you're supposed to like that would have been perfect. When you're healthy and can be on the court, you got a good chance of winning.
Yeah, you know he would have said something petty. You know he would have said something petty if they won.
Absolutely. Because I sure would have. That would have been perfect opportunity. But
I
instead,
love that though. I still love somebody in the NBA actually hate each other.
And it's like barely hate. Like Giannis don't even hang out in America in the offseason. Like he be off in beautiful locations in Europe and in Greece chilling.
But he hang out with Embiid, but they both from overseas though. So
you know, James Harden be at LA Fitness with Russ and all them, and they playing, but they wait. Giannis is not with y'all. Giannis is on a deck somewhere dribbling in the middle of the Red Sea or something.
Yeah, I love that fact. And another thing, y'all stars, bro. Y'all gotta start hitting free throw. Luka shooting like under 50%. Ben shooting 37%. Giannis airballing free throw. Hey, y'all young. Y'all still ain't hit y'all prime. What we say, prime is usually starts when you 25. That's when MVP Giannis started coming and stuff. So y'all still got a lot of time, but that's something y'all need to work on in the summer, even if y'all win or lose. Because we can't have Hacker Ben just going around the playoff.
Yeah, there's nobody that plays 1 through 3 they should not be fouling you for free throws like this.
Luka the same way though. It's not like Luka under 50%. I'm like, bro.
I call Luka a 3. I'm saying once positions 1 through 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They can't.
They should not be the target of the hacker, whoever. You supposed to, if anybody hits free throws, it's supposed to be y'all. Especially with all them crazy, especially with all those crazy shots that Luka throws up. You throwing up one-legged fadeaways and one-legged floaters from the 3-point line. Like,
and can't hit
free throws.
By the way, how mad do you think Giannis is when he look at the Atlanta play and Boston is getting buckets, and the Milwaukee Bucks leaked it, they got him, so that the NBA came and said y'all can't get him.
Yeah, that's gotta be tough for
sure. Boston dropped buckets tonight, dog.
Yeah, he had a few threes, a few big threes at that.
Yeah, he had the big one at the end that when we was down at 3. That Danny Green kept just jacking up threes for no reason. I'm like, bro, stop jacking up threes. He ran down the court like he was Steph Curry and dropped a 3. Danny Green got to stop this. You had one good game and he out here just pulling up from 3 from half court. Dog, we down 3. We trying to win. Give it to Embiid.
Can't trust Danny Green.
That man thought he had
Danny Green might be a coach killer.
Man, Danny Green hit all them shots against Washington. He thought he was a superstar tonight. I'm like, bro, we trying to come back, bro. It's good when we up 10 against Washington and you just busting these 3. We are down. Please stop shooting these. Please, sir. Thank you. But yeah, man, it's the first. Playoffs been pretty interesting. I'm happy to see the young boys take over though.
Absolutely. It's been some blowouts and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I'm excited for the second round. The second round, you know, everybody's favorites for the most part. I mean, you know, the Lakers, there's not a distraction with the Lakers right now. It's just straight up everybody hooping. The only distraction that's left is Brooklyn when it comes to distraction. So
both champs out too. Both of the people that win the finals last year out. No Steph Curry. It's a new year.
So yeah, we excited to see who comes out this year because I'm sure a lot of people put Los Angeles as the going to the finals or winning it. That's a wrap. A lot of people almost lost their money to the to Dallas and them trying to put the Clippers in there, but it's tough. I don't see an easy out for anybody.
I'm not watching ESPN. I'm tired of it.
I've been there quit watching ESPN. I'm
gonna hear tomorrow, and Max Kellerman and Stephen A. gonna tell everybody how the Brooklyn Nets can't be beat and it's over for the series. I'm like, y'all are the worst promoters of a bit. You do realize ESPN show these games. Why are you telling fans they shouldn't watch?
I mean, I'm gonna be real with them. No, they're not wrong. The Nets look like the favorite.
They do like the favorite, but I'm talking about telling people that they can't be beat. I saw a lot of ways they could be beat yesterday. They not unstoppable. It ain't like Golden State that first year when Kevin Durant got done. They had that super team. This team has weak. They are small.
Yeah, if you can work down low, like I was saying, how the Bucks was actually playing that game yesterday at the first half.
Work down low, and then if Kyrie and Durant off, or James Harden off, and you work it down low, they will lose that night. If they have 4 bad games, they should lose. But again, Milwaukee decided they're gonna try to outshoot them, which you can't go outshoot them because they got better shooters. But they are not unbeatable. They are the favorite. They should be the favorite. They got 3 of the best offensive talent in the world, but they lack defense in a lot of ways, and they're really small. Which, thankfully, one of the teams that caused them problems is now out. So the Lakers are indeed out. So
we definitely gonna see. But again, I'm excited. This is the most excited I've been for the playoffs, other than when we got the bubble back. I mean, I was just happy to see basketball again. But this is exciting because it's pretty much just been the Warriors got it for the last few years, except for LeBron stole that one. So shout out to this one. Just a couple more topics before we get out of here. What's that?
Everybody got hurt, and then the Warriors lost to Toronto.
Pretty much. I mean, that was the Warriors cut and dry that year. Had Durant not gotten hurt, it was over.
And Clay, when they were winning, when Clay had 30 something, so and Looney, I'm like, oh, your host on.
So I mean, it's good basketball. This is good basketball, postseason ball. I love it. So we're gonna see how it shake out. We here every week, every Monday. We coming to you with that what's new 99 Sports, man. So keep on tuning in so we can follow how much. We'll see if Zelmay likes Doc at some point. Come into this run, will he find some respect for him, or we'll see if CP3 get that run. We'll see what happens. So we just gonna keep it going. But before we move on, I just want to talk about it's some coaching situations going on. So the coach for Portland is out. Stotts, he's out, and Dame Lillard said, "I want Jason Kidd." Jason Kidd said, "I don't want Portland." I don't know if he was saying that for Portland in general, because I believe he is the coach in waiting for Los Angeles, and I think that's what he wants to do.
I think you thinking Frank might be out.
And it's a good chance, because I think, you look at the roster, you're supposed to be able to coach them to do something. But now y'all go out there and don't do nothing at all. We didn't get all these players out here. I mean, you got to be a good coach. And I'm thinking about Brad Stevens as well. Brad Stevens is out as the coach, not because he was asked to be, but he was moved to administrative role, being the president of basketball operations, wherever he is, GM, whatever he is. He's making the decisions now, and he's no longer the coach. So Boston's got a coaching search going on. But at this point, I'm like, the coaching doesn't matter at this point, because there's not one coach that I'm out here like in the NBA where I'm saying this is a great coach. I don't think we've had one of those coaches since Popovich. And Popovich is even kind of losing his grip on the Spurs.
Well, that team just trash, though.
I mean, but it's some coaching. Look at what he's done over the years. He's been able to make a lot out of there was the New England Patriots version in the NBA. So with that being said, I think that coaches are falling off. It's about the players and what the players do. And you do need it does take a special kind of coach with these players with all this talent and all this money to pull them together to do something, because you see what happened in Frank Vogel's situation. He was not able to get anything out of anybody. It's always been about, is AD going to hit his jumpers tonight or not? That's what they live and die on. Is AD hitting his jumpers tonight? Because God forbid you tell him to get his butt in the paint. He wasn't doing that. So I just think that coaching is just a position at this point.
When they hire the same 10 coaches to every job and they always lose. Stan Van Gundy haven't had a winning season since 2009, and that man still keep getting hired for jobs. I'm telling you, there's no hate against Stan, but something like that, bro, if you don't have a winning record, something like that, or Mark Jackson can't even get a job. Stan Van Gundy keep getting a job. Doc Rivers got a job the day after he got fired. They hired him the day after he got fired. They didn't even give the man a vacation time. He had to come straight to business.
No, that was not a part of parting of ways either. He didn't even get the respectful parting of ways. He was fired. Doc Rivers fired after such and such how many seasons like that. There's no. I mean, it's the same coaches.
Frank Vogel, they keep getting fired.
when they pull in new coaches, it's some random dude that was a college guy. Or remember LeBron's coach when they lost and he was out after 9 games, like with the Cavaliers.
I don't know. I can't even tell if he was a bad coach because LeBron just wasn't doing what he was saying.
All I'm saying is that
it's hard when they don't even listen.
Teams are not going to teams for their coaches and wanting to win. They going for the city and who all gonna be there. That's why I want who all gonna be there. So that's where I'm standing at. That's my problem right now. I think that there's an absence of coaching. Period. We saw what happened last year with the Clippers and how it went off the road because Paul George and Kawhi got to do whatever they wanted to do. Doc Rivers couldn't even pull that together. So yeah, coaching is absent in the NBA. There's an absence of the great coach that people just respect. The days of Pat Riley and Phil Jackson is over with. So that's my spiel on that. And anything before we get into Naomi Osaka.
By the way, if you don't believe Joe, why don't we ask the players themselves? Go to the shop. Draymond Green and LeBron James. Draymond Green states 90% of the coaches in the NBA can't coach a lick. LeBron said, it might be more than that. I agree. I don't know how, if you only have 30, how you get above 90%. That means ain't none of them can coach and one can halfway coach. So that's all. So basically, the NBA players agree with Unico. So if you want to deny it, ask LeBron. And that's why
I think there used to be a culture where you wanted to go somewhere because of the coaching. Like you want to play for Phil Jackson, or even the fun coaches. They don't even talk about the fun coaches that'll let you like a Bruce Arians. Like I want to play for him because he's gonna let us drink on the off day. Like after we win, we get the party. He gonna sit down and have a beer with us. Like there's some coaches that's like that, but you're not saying, or you might say I want to play for Bill Belichick because he is going to put us in a position to win.
But is that the player's fault?
Basketball, they ain't like that.
Is it the player's fault?
Some would say it's the player's fault because they have taken the power away from the organizations.
I agree. I like it some way, but some ways you kind of hamper yourself because it's all on you now. Again, if you tell Steve Nash to shut the when he tell you to come out, he ain't coaching you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
If I'm not mistaken, KD played against Nash a season or two.
I don't know. Probably he did because that was probably in Seattle and days like that. But yeah. But yeah, they don't respect the coaches. Most of the coaches by the way, they should respect the coaches because a lot of these coaches as Kwame say, go home, get a long game, and they keep hiring them because they friends with them.
I mean, not to mention,
we got a coach
I make more than my boss.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, we got a coach in. This happens in football too. We got a coach in Detroit up there with a football helmet on. I mean, a racing helmet, giving an interview, and he just took the Dolphins to like 0 win, like 1 win, and then the new coach came in and they won like 9 games. It happens in football too with bad franchises. The good franchises will get a good coach. But the bad franchise like Detroit and teams like that seem to always hire their friends. And it take them years of losing to get over that. Jeff Fisher had a losing season every year without Steve McNair, besides one. And that man got hired for 20 years after Steve McNair was in the league.
King, 8-8 King.
He wasn't even 8-8 that time. He was losing. He was lucky to get 8-8. I think he got the 8-8 with Vince Young at one time. Went to the playoffs.
But they'll tell you he's a defensive genius, and he puts him in. That's the difference between football and basketball. In basketball, as a player, if you want to go out there and say I'm shutting this one person down and I'm putting up 30, and you put your mind to it, you will do that, and you can change the game just based off of what you do solely alone. You can win a game darn near by yourself. But in football, it takes a lot of moving pieces. That's where the coach does come into play, where you can't just do your job, but you can't do that in the NBA. You in the NBA, you can just go out there and dominate if you want to.
We gotta talk about this, but the media gotta stop lying. Paul George is not an elite defender. Patrick Beverly is not an elite defender. Chris Middleton is not an elite defender. You only got like 5 elite defenders in the league. You got Ben Simmons. You have like Klay Thompson. You got Kawhi. You have Giannis. Thibault is really good. He almost elite, but he fouled too much. Drew Holiday is up there. But ain't that many of them. But they just like to put anybody that run hard and look like they give an effort, they like elite defender. I'm like, bro, he gave up 35 points.
Like, they don't look at that.
Like the time Iguodala, they like, he shut down LeBron. I'm like, he had 35, 9, and 9. He won the MVP because he's an elite defender. I'm like, he made 2-3 plays on LeBron in the whole game. It don't make sense, but the media will tell you they elite. No, it ain't. They ain't elite. Just like people tell you, bro. I saw y'all talk about Jordan Day. Who he played against Columbus. Did y'all look at Dallas Mavericks defense? They look like they. I don't know what that was. It was a layup party. They just had tall people that couldn't move.
What? Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, that defense was. I'm like, you telling me Jordan couldn't get 60 on this defense? By the way, people don't really play defense, bro. Everybody made fun of 76ers for giving up 75 points at halftime, but the Dallas Mavericks and Clippers game, they both had almost 70 at halftime.
They did.
I'm like, so defense just not taught. And by the way, if you do play hard defense, you get rewarded with a lot of fouls. So the league kind of set it up where you can't play defense. Sometimes if the people can't really score, it makes an ugly game. But if you get a fluid game, you get a good one.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the media stirs up whatever narrative they want to, just like about with coaches. Oh, they got a great coaching and such and such. I mean, when they got Frank Vogel, I was like, so what? I didn't care.
Oh yeah, you know about Frank. He was in your city,
man. And then Frank Vogel didn't move me. Oh, there's that vaunted defense. No, the whole team was long.
They are.
They were a long team that you had. Roy Hibbert, although he got a couple of zeros in the column, at the end of the day, they did defensively. You can put your hand in the air and alter somebody's shot. You can do stuff like that. But I wasn't looking like Frank Vogel, like, oh, he drew this defense up. Man, they played man, and it was just long, and they switched on defense. And if you want to play defense, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna switch. You're gonna fight through picks. And, defend the pick and roll how you're supposed to. You're going to stand and do what you got to do. And that's how you win games 103-94. That's just it. And that's what a lot of games. But it wasn't like Frank Vogel was just this master, because we saw what happened.
Yo, we had a lot of 120-point games today, didn't we? Everybody had 120 today. You talking about 103? Everybody's scoring 120 every game. No overtime.
So who's playing defense? Now, you might have some times where somebody gets a block during a run or something to keep a run going. It's like maybe some of the defensive plays during a run where it's noticeable. But, man, y'all giving up a lot of points. And it's the NBA, and I expect for everybody to be able to score well. I don't see somebody going to the NBA and saying, I'm just going to be the super-duper lockdown defender. Rudy Gobert is like the only person that's kind of doing that, but even him is just
Ben getting slandered because all he do is play defense. I'm like, you want somebody to actually play defense? I guess nobody play it, so it don't matter no more, right? Yo, he not elite because he can't shoot. I'm like, bro, he averaged a triple-double. We don't care. He can't shoot threes from half court. He's not good.
But, I mean, pretty much.
That's the league now. That's the fan base, too. And all the young kids taking these dumb shots. Draymond said it's horrible to watch in college and high school. Yeah, these horrible shots. They call fouls every time you try. So it's hard. It's tough. Because if you could play physical, I think Milwaukee would give Brooklyn a lot more trouble. But again, if they do, they're going to get a lot of foul calls on them. So you got to try to bully them the only ways you can on the inside or something like that.
Pretty much. That's where I'm at. And so before we get out of here, we just want to bring up Naomi Osaka. We know what time it is. Very vocal off the tennis court, but she's definitely very good, young, up and coming tennis player. We're gonna hear from her for a long time. For that little sister girl that's out there, I think they'll be playing against each other. A lot of times and going through the future. But Naomi, she said before the French Open started, she wasn't trying to do press conferences, to help with her mental health. And then she didn't come to a press conference. And they fined her $15,000. And she was like, you know what, I'm going to just drop out. I didn't mean to be a distraction, blah, blah, blah. I mean, she's worth like $70-80 million or something right now. So she's not too hurt behind that. But it's just the fact that she, the players are 100% taking the power away from the powers to be. But some people would argue that, hey, you gotta when you get the money that you get, you gotta do what you gotta do. There's obligations, because you wouldn't be here without the media driving your narrative or telling your story. You wouldn't be as popular as you are without everybody needs everybody. Everybody, there's just some things that you got to do, because you wouldn't be there without each other helping each other, and media making your sport what it is today. So you have some people that say that, and then there's some people that's like, no, she needs to take a break. Maybe she doesn't need to talk to the press. Let her. She just want to go play tennis. But I'm a bit in the middle, because you do got to do stuff that you don't want to do, especially when you're making millions of dollars. But also, I mean, you don't have to sell your soul, but you can go out there and talk to the media and say, yeah, it was a good match, and that's what I have to say about it, and then walk off. You got to give them something, though.
That is
make too much money.
That is true, but I'm gonna tell everybody a secret about that. The media influence is not as great as people say it is. That's a myth. It's no longer great with the advent of the internet. You don't no longer have to go through those same channels. You can go on Kwame Bus Life and speak your mind, like Eton Moore and a lot of other people. And you can go on random YouTube channels. You can come on here. You can go on Pat McAfee show. They have nothing to do with the media. But the thing is about the media is they pay so much. ESPN pays billions of dollars for a contract with them. That's where it comes in at. That's where I think the obligation comes in at, because saying a sport wouldn't be a sport where it is without the networks is a lie. People don't watch TV no more. I think outside of NFL, I think every sport is more watched online or through a streaming service than they do through ESPN or anything else. That's why the ratings are down. But online, basketball is most popular as it ever been, but through regular channels, it's not. So it's a myth that all of a sudden, oh, you have to come through us to get your message out. Bro, I can literally make a YouTube channel. LeBron and AD can stream on Twitch and say whatever they want. They don't have to have you broadcast it to 1,000 people. Bro, trust me, if Kwame Brown say something, 1 million people should be on watching, and that's Kwame Brown. 1 million people will watch him and Judge Joe Brown talk, bro. Who would thought in 2021 that 1 million people would care what Kwame Brown and Judge Joe Brown had to talk about? That's the amazing part of the internet. I don't need you to tell my story. I don't think media people has gotten that through the head. We don't need you. But where it comes in is ESPN does pay $20 billion to support you and to put you on. So I think that obligation comes from the contract, not from that myth that lie they make up about we are important. Yeah.
I'll give you that too. I mean, but that your salary is the way it is because of quote unquote TV contracts. That's a big part of it.
But don't tell me that lie about. But please don't lie to me, Stephen A. Smith, about how you are the reason people can get their stories out. Most people don't even talk to y'all anymore.
Yeah, they have stuff like The Shop. They go in there and talk candidly about whatever they want to.
I Am Athlete. Aaron Rodgers did one thing with ESPN, ever have a conversation. He go on Pat McAfee show every Tuesday. Well, not now, but during the season. But during the season, he go on Pat McAfee show every Tuesday and talk to him.
And I mean, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, no matter what kind of beef they got with Kwame at this time, they kind of letting that go. But Rondo went on there and spoke candidly the way that you can't speak when you on ESPN, and he gave a hell of an interview. It was, and he's not getting canceled for anything that he's saying. He was speaking, he able to drop F-bombs, say nigga all day. So we just like Rondo, you can come on our show and say nigga all you want to, cuss or drop F-bombs all you want to, Rondo. Come on the show. But I'm just saying, you get to go on there and talk and speak your truth.
Where can we get that second? Please come through Houston. I know y'all like Houston. Strip club. Come right there before the strip club. Joe go with you. I ain't going with you. I'm gonna be working. But Joe go
last place. Child, please. Last place I'm going to the strip club. I ain't giving nobody no money for something I can look up.
Yo, they all got Instagram pages, so you know what I'm saying. But yeah, they have. That's not the truth. You are not the only way they can get their voices out. That's a lot, Steven.
Not now.
That's a lot, Steven. They might can get their voice out on other platforms more so than yours, but like I said, out of every show outside of sports, if you got 100,000, if you got like 500,000 people watching you, you're beating almost every show on TV. But that's just how it is. You pay them a lot of money so you get interviews. That's the truth. It's not about this little narrative they hide behind to tell you that, oh, we get your voices out. We make you important. No, you pay a lot of money to get these interviews, and that's it. Don't try to manipulate. Just tell the truth. I don't need it. And it's okay. I don't mind you pay a lot of money to do it. That's what you do. That's what you want. But don't lie to me and tell me, oh, that's the only way you can get your narrative. We give you your story. You don't do nothing. You don't have that much power anymore. People don't even watch y'all like they used to.
I mean, I think you get more about somebody's day when they hop on their Instagram live.
Yeah, you
and just and ESPN fired Paul Pierce. He's like, okay, so what? I'm about to do something else and get paid off of it, just like I'm paying, and do it when I want to and how I want to. So Paul Pierce might have been doing that on purpose. He knew he was gonna get fired.
But they're gonna tell y'all. But it's the power manipulation again. That's my channel, telling you something that's not true, convincing you of something you already think. Oh, we the reason they give the voices out. Yeah, only reason I heard what he said is because I watched it on Stephen A. Smith show. But Stephen A. got it from Pat McAfee, or he got it from Kwame Bus Life, or he got it from I Am Athlete, or he got it from whatever other show he owned. You got it from or they IG Live now. You didn't get it from ESPN. Your topics you talk about come from something else. But
I think Adam Schefter, and we already know what he did as far as reporting goes. We talked about that a few episodes before the draft had started, or the day of the draft rather. But we talked about how he just was. I was just saying what everybody knows, basically, and calling and reporting. So I mean, what else do we know? You know, I think he might get some of his information as far as trades and stuff in NFL. He just might got the same connection that everybody else got. When something drops in the league, he gets to see it too. He might be a part of that special app that maybe they all got about moves in the league that coaches and organizations share. Who knows? But he showed us what kind of reporting he can get away with. I just said what everybody knows. And called a report.
And ultimately, this is all about Naomi Osaka giving her peace, protecting her peace as everyone should. Hey, I won't even play if y'all gonna bother me because I don't feel like dealing with it. Okay, you made your money, you did your thing, you can take a break. Ryan Garcia did the same thing a few months ago. I know you got boxer fans like, oh, he weak minded. This ain't people are not trying to commit acts upon themselves in 2021 because you want to be entertained. Protect yourself. Don't worry about what these people think. That's how it is.
Big facts.
And by the way, shout out to Shannon Sharp, doxing Julio Jones, telling him he's out of enough and he didn't know he was on. I'm like, I know Shannon know better. If that's true,
Julio knew what time it was. He knew what time it was in the morning. He knew he was on there. He knew he was on that show live.
But I don't think you expect a person to call you during the because they have commercials.
I do. I'm gonna look at my phone and be like, I got your number. Come on. If I know this Uncle Shay calling me, I got your number saved. I'm looking at what time it is. Julio Jones knew that.
This is the problem, though. They do that all the time. They'll call each other during break, and then he be like, you can tell them on the radio, but when I hear it myself, it's a little different when you hear my voice say it on radio without me knowing. I don't think Julio cared because it would have been a bigger issue if Julio cared. But I know Fox didn't run that no more. ESPN didn't run it either. They didn't even say breaking news. Julio said he out. I'm like, okay. Oh, so y'all protected each other. I see how it is. But that's how it is. That's how the game goes. You got to learn how to play the game.
Big facts. Anything else before we get out of here for the week, man?
Remember to keep stomping. Protect your peace, as our queen Naomi said. Manifesting blessings to all that's listening right now. And to remember to keep stomping. Why, Unico?
Something amazing might happen.
You right. Peace.